good. New information on a case we've been following closely here on Happening Now. The defense rests in the second penalty phase for Jodi Arias. Arias, you know, was convicted nearly 2 years ago of brutally killing her ex-boyfriend. But that jury deadlocked on whether to sentence her to death or life imprisonment. As a result, we get the second trial. Joining us now, Anna Yum, former prosecutor, and Brian Claypool, a criminal defense attorney. I said a little bit earlier in the program that she isn't going to testify, but that's in the open court phase of the trial. She actually did testify already as a secret witness. She was on the stand for 2 days being questioned by her attorneys. The judge is not going to throw out that testimony, not like a juror would be able to unring that bell from their head anyway. But I'm surprised, frankly, that the judge is going to allow that to stand, Anna, even though prosecutors didn't get a chance to question her.
I'm surprised too, John. I mean, when I was a former prosecutor and when I was a DA, I always had an opportunity to cross-examine defendants when they testified. And for this to happen in this situation, in this type of case, is crazy to me. I mean, with cross-examination, as a trial attorney, I can tell you, there's nothing more effective than a powerful cross-examination. Anyone can sit on the witness stand and say anything, but with cross-examination, you expose the inconsistencies and the lies to debase a witness' credibility. I think Juan Martinez is definitely going to face many obstacles in trying to secure a death penalty sentence in this case because he won't be able to cross-examine her.
Yeah. Brian, what about that? I mean, does that become potentially grounds for an appeal by the prosecution? I'm not sure that anybody would want to do this trial a third time, but, you know, she got basically kid glove treatment from her attorneys. She was able to trash, you know, Travis Alexander, her late lover, whom she admits murdering. And she got to, I guess, establish a relationship with these jurors who are going to decide whether she lives or dies, didn't have to put up with any prosecution cross-examination. What do you think, Brian?
Well, John, I think the bigger issue here is that in the second retrial in the death penalty phase, the jury doesn't get a full and complete picture of what really happened. The jury doesn't hear what the first jury heard in the original case about the heinous crime, about the photographs, about the bloody scene, about all the lies that Jodi Arias carried out. They only get a small snapshot in this trial phase. So as Anna said, it was really important then for Juan Martinez to come in and hammer Jodi Arias and show that she's a pathological liar, that she has a deceitful mind, that she has many inconsistencies. And not having had that advantage of cross-examination is a death sentence, no pun intended, for the prosecution. They will never get a death penalty conviction here now.
I just wonder if this was just very clever defense work, Anna, for Jodi to get up there. As I understand it, her side said that there was a witness, a secret witness, who would not testify if there were going to be reporters in the courtroom. So they kicked all the reporters out of the courtroom. They had just the court officers, the lawyers, the judge, and the jury. And she talked for 2 days. And then after reporters filed suit and said, you can't do that, you can't, you know, exclude us from the courtroom, then the judge says, okay, you know, it was actually Jodi Arias who testified, but we're going to let that testimony stand. I can't believe it.
Well, I would think that would be amazing defense work if that was the case, if they could foresee this strategically speaking. But I don't think that's the situation here, John. I think Jodi Arias dodged a huge bullet. And I think by the court not striking her testimony, Juan Martinez now is going to have to put on a show in rebutting the testimony and exposing that the defense's case was riddled with holes and inconsistencies. And let's not forget, John, that only 2% of the population on death row are women. Women generally don't get death. So Juan Martinez has a huge uphill battle in trying to secure this kind of sentence and convincing all jurors, remember it has to be unanimous, that she's worthy of getting sentenced to death here.
You agree, Brian? You don't think she'd get the death penalty?
No, John, another quick reason why is because in Arizona, you've got to prove that Jodi Arias acted in a depraved manner, that she carried out a heinous act to get a death sentence imposed. And Robert Geffner, the forensic psychologist for Jodi Arias, did a great job, spent 4 days of testifying about Jodi Arias being a battered woman. He testified about Travis Alexander texting 4 women at once. At one point, he was texting 12 women trying to get sex. So he was portrayed in a bad light. The jury now has doubt in their mind that Jodi Arias acted in a depraved manner. It was great mitigating evidence for Jodi Arias. She won't get the death penalty.
She could get life. She could get 25 years to life, which would allow for parole. We'll certainly let our viewers know what happens. Anna Yum, Brian Claypool, thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.